Hi, this is Joe Rabil from Rabil Stock Research with your Daily 5. I'm going to start out with the IWM and discuss what I'm seeing in the small cap universe. Then I'm going to provide 4 small cap ideas showing bullish characteristics and go through the reasons I find them attractive. So let's go ahead and get going with the Daily 5. Now, what I wanted to do, I actually wanted to just point this out because it's a good play into what I want to discuss today. Look at this. This under market summary in ACP, you get this little heat map of what's taking place. And you can see today, and the same thing held true yesterday, small cap had a really good day. Look at this. You see the strength here on relative to large cap, which is up here. We're seeing somewhat of a shift take place. Now, I've noticed this improvement, especially when I go through a lot of individual stocks. Okay, I go through when I do a weekly review. Where on Wednesday I put out by sector the best looking patterns, and it doesn't have anything to do with market cap. It's sorted by market cap, but I do everything 300 million or greater. I go through everything that trades. And what is interesting is that that list right now, so I start out with about 3,000 stocks that trade a decent amount and I have a market cap greater than 300 million. And that list, again, starts at 3. I usually take it and narrow it down each week into a watch list. And that watch list keeps growing, which I think is a good sign. But more importantly to me, I noticed that the number of stocks with a market cap of 6 billion or less is actually more. It's a greater percentage, about 65% of the list. My watch list is now in that small cap universe. All right. So I like being bottom up that way. I like looking at a lot of symbols and getting an idea of what's going on, because if you look at what's going on in the Russell, and let's just look at this IWM chart. I'm going to expand this. You can see that on a relative basis, this still hasn't really been performing. It's starting to lift off a little bit here in July. It's starting to kick in a little bit, but we're still near the lows of the last few years in terms of relative performance to the S&P. When this black line is declining, it's saying that it's underperforming the S&P. When it's rising, that's when it's outperforming the S&P. And what I've been saying is for the market to have some kind of a really dynamic move, powerful move that includes a broader universe, and it's a lot easier to make money, we should see improvement in this relative line. And what I'm noticing is from a bottom-up standpoint, I'm seeing the improvement. There's definite improvement when I go through the individual stocks. It's not necessarily being reflected here yet, but I think that's what's coming. So let's go ahead and go back now and we'll do a little analysis on what I'm seeing in terms of this index. So if we frame it out, I like to frame out what's really taking place. So we have a decline that started in late 2021, really, and declined into the middle of July. And then we had a pretty nice rally to the upside. And I consider this the one in a change in trend. We had a downtrend in place. We had clearly had a downtrend line. We broke that. That's not enough to shift the trend for me. I want to see a little bit more of a complex reversal. So the second part of a change in trend is a test of the low, right? So we come back here. And then what I teach is once we've had a pullback, we want to draw in 2 lines. First, we want to draw in the line at the high, and secondly, we want to draw in a line at the low. All right, now we've framed this out. We know there's potential improvement in this area, in this index, but we don't have a full-fledged change in trend until we get through this 200 mark. That would be the 3, and that is highly strong evidence, I'll say, that that the trend has turned to the upside. All right. If this were to fail here and come back down through here, then it's continuation back to the downside. And it could have really done that at any point from here and here and here. It hasn't done it. It's just stayed contained between these 2 lines. So we're waiting. But one thing I'm noticing is we're creeping up higher and showing strength, and there's more and more stocks showing improvement. The other thing that I really like to look at, especially on a weekly chart, is notice the volume pattern. You see these heavy volume bars all above the average. This is the average line going across. Do you see that this was the only real green bar from this period on above the average line? And then look at what's shifting now. We're starting to see a shift in the number of bars related to what I would consider to be like almost accumulation bars, right? So I think that's a really good sign to see that volume shift. What I want to see to get some confirmation here, we're getting improvement on a MACD basis. I want to see this green line break out back above 25 and show the buyers are a little bit more serious here. But I'm seeing that when I go through the individual stocks. All right, so what I want to do now is go through, I'm going to have 4 examples of stocks that are they're right around the, well, they're really between like 3 to 6 billion in market cap. And I think this is kind of intriguing because look at this stock, Light and Wonder. It's a gambling stock. And if you go and look at a lot of the bigger gambling stocks, they've already kind of made a move here. This one, so if we put it in perspective, we're not near the highs, but look at the way this has played out. We had a downtrend in place. You could have put it here. You rallied up and tested, and now you're kind of coming back up through this little consolidation area with improving MACD, which cupped around at the 0 line, and a low ADX condition. So when we have low ADX, we want to buy a breakout. So we've got this breakout pattern starting to emerge, low ADX on the monthly, low ADX on the weekly, low ADX on the daily. So we want to buy a breakout. And I think getting through the 70 level is pretty important. The other thing I wanted to point out is that if we look at this monthly chart, we had a declining 18-month that now has turned up. All right, MACD is actually confirming here on this time frame as well. But look at the monthly. You see how that's turning up? And we're still in pretty close proximity to it. Notice how we're turning up above an 18-week. And notice how we're still pretty close to the 18-day. So we've got all 3 18 MAs cupping around right underneath price. I think that offers a pretty good sign that the trends in all these time frames are starting to show a confluence. Let's look at this Schoals. So yesterday we started to see TAN or the solar ETF start to perk up, had a really good day. And if you go through and look at the individual stocks, this one sort of intrigues me. It's another one in that, $4 to $5 billion market cap area. I like the look of this, the way this is turning. Look at the recent breakout on a daily chart. Again, we have low ADX condition here, low ADX condition here, and a low ADX condition here. So we're looking for a breakout. It's starting to emerge out of this consolidation area here on the weekly chart. We've got MACD turning up. So we want to look for a little bit more confirmation, but I like this look. This is a good look to this pattern, and I like the risk reward of it because really, if we got any kind of a little dip here, you can use the low here underneath this bottom and risk a small amount to me to something that has the potential to be starting a new trend to the upside. Now let's look at a few stocks that are already showing strength and are pulling back. So the first 2 I showed, LNW and SHLS, were low ADX patterns that haven't really emerged yet, but are close. These next 2 are stocks that have broke out, showing strength. You see the strength in this move? We get a nice breakout above this resistance, and then look at how we check back to the breakout area, and we get a very orderly pullback with the ADX and the MACD both confirming a potential reversal here. So I like the look of this pattern. It's got a really attractive overall momentum characteristics, and you can see on the monthly chart we're clearing a pretty big area to the upside. Now look at Owens Illinois, right? So let's start with the monthly on this one. Look at the strength of this move. So we just cleared this really big area at 20. We've got a lot of strength in MACD, and look at the ADX pattern. Not only is green DI breaking out and pulling back, but look at how the ADX is still rising on the monthly chart. The other thing is that I like this. I think this looks like an accumulation pattern when I look at the volume. There's very sneaky bullish volume taking place in this. It's not extreme, but it's consistent. And look at what happened when we broke out. Instead of having any kind of a harsh pullback or anything like that, it's really been a very orderly sideways pattern. Very strong reading here. So we get this strong reading the upside, and then we consolidate, and we've got this flat 18 MA, but look at how strong the 40 is rising underneath. And we've been working off the overbought condition. You can see it on both oscillators here, both on the MACD and the ADX. The volume pattern still looks good. You can see there's very little distribution taking place. So I'm kind of watching this and thinking if we can get a legitimate breakout through this trend line, which is actually taking place here today, maybe yesterday afternoon, I think this looks very, very good. Something that should participate. It's in the materials area, which is showing improvement. So anyway, I just think these are the types of stocks I'd be watching for. And my reasoning is that I think a lot of the bigger names, the big cap stocks, the huge mega cap stocks are very extended away from support. I want to try and find new emerging names, and these are the kinds of stocks that I think could play very, very well if the market wants to continue higher. So I hope you enjoyed this segment. You can contact me through LinkedIn, Twitter, or find my research on RabilStockResearch.com. In addition, if you'd like to learn more about trend, MACD, and ADX in multiple timeframes, I'm offering my book in a PDF format at a discount. So you can go to RabilStockResearch.com/book for more information. Have a great trading day, and I'll see you next time.